find out more about it. I don't know. All good? All right. It's 6:01. Why don't we kick off the February 28th DDA Heritage Festival volunteer and discussion meeting, planning meeting. How's everybody doing?
Cold.
Good? Cold, yeah, I know. 75 yesterday, 57 when woke up. We're all gonna be sick tomorrow, so welcome. Pretty much this is just an open discussion format, but we're gonna start off with car show. Angela had to be at a spelling bee, so we're gonna kind of talk through a couple things that she's got on here. For the car show, the update she had is Autorama and Cruise the News Media Spring Summer ads have been submitted, so that has started. So we will be in both per you car people's request.
Our people.
You car people. Yeah. You can all hang out together. It's probably warmer that way.
Yeah.
I know.
I like cars, I just can't afford them.
Yeah. And we already have one entry for there. Do we even print the flyers yet?
Yes.
Oh,
we
okay.
did?
This is the top, this is like one of the top years.
Right.
Yeah, he caught me at the council meetings when I handed it out.
Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, I didn't even think we had them out yet.
When we said there's one, Trisha's like, you? I said, no, I haven't even seen the sign up yet.
Right.
So I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
Hey, February, let's talk about September now, right? Moving to anything on the car show? Do you got any updates for the car show at all?
Just the, obviously we had the flyers going on. Obviously the stuff's going down to Kobo as well over the weekend, so there'll be flyers down there. Just wanted to talk with Angela on the website, on the Facebook site. What we wanted to do is actually have something where we can actually talk to the car clubs.
So what were we going to do? I forgot what we said we wanted to do now.
We were gonna try to do that personal page, but she wanted to see if there was a way to link it to the main page somehow. So it's like that way, like this weekend we'd be like, hey, check us out at Kobo. We're down at Kobo this weekend, kind of thing, and then hit it with a bunch of clubs or things like that. Obviously, miss that part of it.
So make like a sub page to our page or another page,
Yeah.
just strictly car show, right?
Yeah, so like you said, maybe it's the Elmont Heritage Festival or Elmont Avenue, what we want to call it, but then that'll be like a chatter page where we can friend all the clubs, they can like us, they can friend us, we kind of keep them on our radar all the time instead of trying to lose them or me trying to go back to my messenger and be like,
Yes.
oh, I messaged you a year ago.
Yeah.
I
So
think
making
we
an event won't work that way. Won't work out the way you want.
When you make events, like the discussion is like on a separate tab and it's so hard to find. I feel like it's difficult for people. So I get what you want and we will work on that
Yeah. When do you want it up and running by? If we could make it probably this
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
Tomorrow, I can tell.
If it was great for Autorama, it'd be awesome.
When's Autorama?
This weekend.
Oh, this weekend?
It's this weekend.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
Tomorrow.
But
My-
yeah, I mean,
my dad's
can't
down
do
there
by
right now.
tomorrow, but
Oh,
at least
okay.
The sooner we get it up, the better, because it's just, we can just keep building, I don't know, that, our structure.
I
Well,
will talk to Angela about it after
Yeah.
our meet. She'll be here, but probably not during this meeting, during the next one. I'll talk to her after.
Yeah,
If-
and
our
then we
regular
can put
meeting.
all the past pictures on there. and
Yeah.
just- Plus, again, it keeps away from money, like if there are, it's not like you're getting.
Yeah.
Not trying to sound bad, but not
Yeah.
like you're getting just car people, you're not getting like.
Right.
Up the roads, or, you know what
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, if we
Probably
could,
have to be a separate page.
it's gonna
I
have to be a
think
separate
so,
page.
but I think you can link pages.
Right. It could be it's got to be a separate page.
Yeah.
But I think we could it's got to be, Facebook world now, you got to prove your existence most cases.
We don't.
Don't you? Not to have all right, whatever, I don't know.
No,
All right.
I'll work on
I
it.
thought they locked that down. Well, I'm just thinking, I know it's quick, but if we can have it for the weekend and they
There's no
start,
reason we can't pop one up. It's fine. We'll
well,
handle
even
it.
if it's rudimentary, that way the word can be spread that it's up and running and start for the weekend. You know what I mean? For Autorama? Okay.
And you want to be able to have access to this, right? Like
Right.
admin access?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, that way I can
Yep.
start inviting the
Yep.
clubs, just car people in general, things like that.
Yep.
Even like the people that we registered last year, we can invite it's that free pushes that we're getting out of all that.
Yeah. Oh, it's all free marketing.
Yeah.
All right,
We'll make it happen before the weekend.
all right. What else car show wise?
I think besides the flyers, we were talking about, obviously, I don't know, we want to start building up that, like if that's where we want to start doing too. Because right now on flyer too, we have this research drive in Holland.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, where they're actually going to go into now, but we want to kind of keep that for now. Because the other thought was too, do we want to give like a caveat to people that register early to try to get them to register early, meaning that they would get like first dibs to park, ideally, right? You get pulled in first.
That's-
I think that's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be difficult.
so hard to police, though, don't you?
No, because
And because the guys who get there first are going to be mad if they're not first, and
Is
you
it gonna be
know,
hard to reserve those
As
spots
it is, people
for
are
those
so
people?
angry.
But we were thinking if they came into the like research drive and lined up, it would just be first come, or like you said, pre-register with one lane, the other lane, but
Well, then,
I don't
well,
want any grief, but it would be like, yeah, if you're pre-registered, you go on that lane, and then when you get pulled in the Van Dyke, they just take the lane and you just get what you get.
Right.
what would we do, like the first 25 or 50 cars or something like that?
Well, because I think, whatever we were kind of looking at for registration, but I mean, it's just
I
a
think-
nightmare, to do it,
I think we're gonna get those numbers no matter what. I think that would be more like if we were struggling to try and fill, but at this point, I think the way things are going, we're gonna have to cut people off. Like, we're gonna have too
We're just
many.
thinking of a way to get people to get signed up on the pre-registration.
Yeah.
Just to give them a better count of, because as you see, you're not gonna, they don't register.
Well, What about, are we still going to do goodie bags?
Yeah,
What is I haven't seen the thing. What does it say about, does it say first X number pre-registered, get a goodie bag?
she did the same as last year.
Okay.
She carried that over, when it
Okay.
was like the first 75.
I do agree that though, if you are pre-registering early to not get a spot, like get something so far away, and then somebody who's just there the day of, that is kind of crummy. Like, I would want a good spot, but it's hard to be able to.
Right, but what if we have
Yeah.
300 people pre-register?
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah.
but we keep track of the order they register, right? The
Kind of like what you.
early bird gets the worm.
But how do you police that if
Yeah, I
they
know.
don't show up till 9 and other people are there at 7? Like, how do we, then we're going to have empty, I feel like it's.
I know,
Oh, I
that's
don't,
gonna
no,
be
I
hard,
I
yeah.
don't disagree.
If we are able to maybe try to think about that, because I don't know how many more pre-registers we're gonna get before next meeting or even the
Like,
March meeting, if we're able to think of something up until then. If not, then we don't even, then we just not even consider it.
we'll just tell them they gotta be there by a certain time to get that spot
Yeah.
if they want premier spot. Pre-registrations, whatever number
You
it
have to be
is,
there
they
by
have to be
7
there
then,
by
or
7.
something like that, if you want your spot though too.
Right.
I don't know.
After that, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
It's
agree,
something
that's
to
gonna be
think
hard to get those people in and then move them around other cars.
Yeah.
Why don't we, it's February, right? Why don't we commit to come back to March's meeting with an idea, work on an idea that you think would work for the car area? And come back to that, let's talk it through, right? So think through what you get out of early registration, how you line that up, and then, how you're gonna line them up on, like, if we use Research Drive. So why don't you come back with that? I don't dislike the idea. I just think we gotta
Right, I don't know how
talk
to
through it.
make
Honestly,
it
you
work.
guys, I just want to keep them away from Van Dyke.
Yeah,
Right.
Try to
so
keep them in,
much.
So kind of organize them, so like, get away from the, where you get the groups that want to fight for spots or something,
Yeah. Weren't you also talking about if you were a volunteer and a car volunteer, they were gonna get the
They
front
get parked
That was
first.
another thought, is like,
That
those
was-
cars
that's what we
would,
did
like,
last year,
maybe
yeah.
pull them in, you know what I mean, as far as like, which I thought would be kind of cool, because then the residents, if they wanted to sit outside, they can actually see the cars all coming at one time,
Right.
Yeah, that is cool.
So I think as we map things out, let's map out where we're gonna start having things, but then map out where you think you're parking your volunteers first, and then where you think that next set of registration goes. But I think that would be helpful with what we're doing.
And one problem, one very big problem, he was a sponsor and he also had a bunch of cars in the show. Well, everybody else is getting there at 7, 8, 9 o'clock, he rolls in at, 10 o'clock and wants front row parking, and we're like scrambling out, trying to figure out how to do that. So we gotta give them, if they're gonna pre-register and they're gonna, they want a front row spot, they need to be there by a certain time.
Yes.
because, I
Or you
if they're
don't
not
get the
there
spot.
by- if they're not there by a certain time,
Right,
and then we got a bunch of cars that we need to fill, putting holes in.
right.
We're just gonna park. them.
People have to be realistic. We're very limited. I mean, to cram what fit, we're forecasting 500 cars. To cram 500 cars in that area, can we make it happen? Yes, but people have to be realistic that if we do a pre-registration, they're there by a certain time, we'll make it happen. After that, I don't think we can promise anything. Because it is like a Tetris puzzle, to be honest. So, yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah. Van Dyke is still going to be. We're still going to have it shut down basically from the bank. Well, it'll be shut down all the way, the whole thing of Van Dyke, but ideally, car wise, could be from the bank, which is Centennial, all the way down to whatever that road is south of the theater.
We went all the way down to the creek last year.
Yeah, but the problem is though, the feedback we got is we got to keep it open so people can get through town. So if we let them jog on the south end, I don't know if that's Mill Street or whatever, we're gonna have to let them jog a little bit. But we're gonna end up taking back East and West St. Clair with cars where we didn't last year, and potentially probably the church parking lot. So that will give us more room. I think Wayne and I did the math, and what did we count? About 100 cars in that section, where we'll make up that 100 cars just on East and West St. Clair.
With that in front of the beer tent is going to be still on east.
East St. Clair is the
So just on
target.
so in front of the beer tent
Correct.
essentially.
Yeah.
And then we'll have that will be, is the beer tent going to be right in front of the church?
Yes.
Okay. So then we can utilize the parking lot
Correct.
and be able to get in and out. Okay.
That we're still working through. We got to work through kind of where all the cars are going, where the beer tent's going, and where we just got to kind of work through that thought process. It might be at the back of the one parking lot, it might be on the other side of, I don't know, we got to work
It
through
could
that.
be in where Community Cracker Barrel, that
Could
parking
be.
lot in there,
Yeah,
and where we had the vendors. What was that, like 2 years ago?
Correct.
3 years ago?
could be back in that area because now that it's expanded, there's a lot more room for us to kind of take up. But there's complexities on where we could put the beer tent with the social district we just did. And that's the other thing. If we do have food vendors, we got to make sure they stay in there and people can walk around.
Yeah, or it could be on the other side of the beer tent.
Correct.
But then if you have kids, you can't really get around that.
Those are things we're going to have to work through, to be honest. Correct. And we might even put them off of, is it Mill Street, the one that's just south of the Historical Society?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe
We
that's
might even
so.
be able to go at the end of there.
Or in the alley,
The-
maybe.
Right. No, north of there.
North, that street
Yeah.
just north of where the beer tent
Correct.
is.
Stone, yeah.
Stone Street.
Stone Street,
Stone
yeah.
Street.
That's it.
Yeah, what's
Okay.
the one just south of the
Historical Society.
Historical Society?
That alleyway, Mill.
Mill Street. Okay. So it might be off of Mill. So those are the things that we've got to work through. So that area where the beer tent was last year, that building was sold, and that is slated to start getting remodeled. So we're not going to have access to that. There's a parking lot issue that we probably may or may not have access to that either. We got to work through that. It's going to be right on the street. East St. Clair and right at East St. Clair and Bristol. The rationale with that is that's where it was supposed to be last year, but something came up at the very last minute. We have a large power supply right there, and we need the power, and that's why it's there. So that'll be in that area, which will block off some traffic flow, but we're going to have that shut down for the day or the weekend anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, some complexities. So in the beer tent, though, we have confirmed Family Tradition Band will be Friday. I just signed the contract for Sunset Boulevard. They'll be Saturday. 2 huge draws, which is nice. EQS production will be doing production again. What we have to determine is, do we still want to do a cornhole tournament like we did last year? That seemed to be a lot of success that brought people in early,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Mhm.
And that's something, we started that after the car show was done,
We
right?
did, yeah. I want to say it started at like 4 maybe.
Okay.
I feel like.
Yeah.
So after we get the cars out in that East St. Clair area, that can now turn into our cornhole area right in downtown, which I think would be nice. Traffic's going by, well, we got the road blocked off, and
I said Eric's not here.
Eric's not here.
I wonder if they would be interested in running that.
Eric, if not, that other guy did. Whoever what his name was, John
Neil Ott.
Neil.
Um,
Should we get the little girl again? Playing?
she didn't play at ours.
She didn't play at ours.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, no, she didn't play at ours.
No.
So I mean, when the beer tent's open or when it's there, we'll have opportunities to go to music earlier.
Yeah,
But
last year we weren't able to play earlier.
right, yeah. And what was that?
You could do it at the opening of the car show too.
Correct.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. That'd probably be
Yeah.
fun.
So I mean, with having the beer tent there, the entertainment tent is really what it's called. I mean, we could have a band there playing all day if we wanted to.
Mhm.
So it opens it up. The other thing that opens it up, because that's now towards the bars and restaurants with the social district. I mean, the band can play Friday night, but maybe we open up to some locals to do Mike night or something early. I don't know. Those are some ideas that we could do, because production will be there. All that stuff will be there. So just some ideas we might be able or not to do. So
What time is,
yeah, correct.
I know that the beer tent last year was more in the evening kind of entertainment. There was more throughout the day.
So now we just had our social district approved, and hopefully everything's up and running by that time frame. If that's the case, the restaurants will be running our beer tent, and people will actually be able to walk through that whole area with a drink, up and down Van Dyke. So that is supposed to be, fingers crossed, happening.
I have a question.
Hmm.
So if we are going to, which I think it's great, have entertainment during the day, how does that coincide with having a DJ during the car show? How's that
That's-
going to work out? Because people were complaining about the noise as it was last year.
Well, then maybe we don't have people.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Heather.
don't. Maybe that area is just a nice place for people to gather to eat and have a drink, and we don't have. Maybe we just pump in the music from the DJ, keep it toned down in that area, and they're still getting the music and hearing what's
Mhm.
going on. Maybe we don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good idea or a good thought.
we could stick our food vendors in there too. Maybe
Inside of it, it's
during
possible.
the day and then at night, when
I
the,
don't think they like to move.
Yeah, that's the only problem. Is moving.
I don't think they like to move because they kind of like have to shut up shop
Yeah,
to
that's-
move.
that's true.
Right.
But we could Friday earlier in the day though. Like I don't remember what time. Well, I have no idea what time Family Tradition Band will start Friday. But we could like start something at 5 maybe Friday. Like them. Who are those young kids you said?
Oh, well, they can't play with their alcohol. That's the only problem. You're talking about
Oh.
third degree
Yep,
burns,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because they're all
Kids.
minors.
Okay,
They
never
can't.
mind.
I know it's a good
They
idea.
can't be in the beer tent
They
after
can't
a
be at the
certain,
beer tent.
can they be in the beer tent before a certain time? Because kids were in the beer tent even last year at a certain time, and then we made them move, they had to get out.
That wasn't our rule. That was their group's rules. They don't
Okay.
play with alcohol.
Okay,
That's theirs.
okay.
Now, maybe we have them start during the day early. I don't know, before the beer tent opens, but I don't.
Yeah, we opened the beer tent one last year at like 5 or 4 or something.
On Friday.
Yeah.
It was 4.
probably, was it 4? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
But if the street shut down, we could open it up earlier in the day and possibly have food trucks there. They would have to move for the next day, but that's a possibility. Or 2 days of cornhole or whatever we wanted to do. Yeah.
Well, the car show participants were complaining that the DJ was too loud.
Yes. So the way his speakers were set up, and he's got to fix that for this year. He had 2 of them downtown right there, but he set them up so you could hear them all the way down Van Dyke on both sides for like a mile. They were loud in the center of town, but you could hear them out. He's going to have to do remotes. We talked to him about that, to get remotes further away, so that way it's not.
It was very
It
loud.
was loud.
Right.
We've got to
downtown.
get it where it's around the whole area,
Mhm.
where it basically that's what happened. It was just blasting out,
Mhm.
and it was loud. So the band wise, that should be
Yeah.
band wise fine. The band
Yeah.
isn't going to be any louder than what we had last year. Yeah. Yeah, they could. We'll have to, because we have
Yeah.
production there. That gets a little tricky because we've now, because of the level of bands we have, I forgot, we hired a production company. Remember last year, the Royal Rube started setting up and people are losing their mind in there? Right, because what production comes in is lays out all the cables and all the controllers and all that, all the lights and all that. They're there. And we had a local band setting up and it turned into a debacle. So we're gonna have to be cautious with that. If we plan it correctly, it should be okay. I think it was just people didn't know what was going on. But yeah, I mean, unless somebody, hello, ma'am. Unless somebody thinks differently, we're still thinking St. Clair and Bristol for the beer tent.
Yeah.
As long as everything is in place, but like we said, we need to have a plan B too, just in case the social district is not fully functioning by
running.
then.
If that's the case, it's got to be 500 feet away.
In the parking lot, yeah. It
Wow.
wasn't necessarily that bad. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse.
I
And
thought it
was
worked out
really
really well,
busy.
honestly. And
Right.
if we were able to do it again this year, that would be fine. But I don't know that we will have that capability now.
When do they start construction? Do you know?
I don't think anybody
Yeah,
knows
no,
yet.
I don't think that there's any plans. We haven't
Right.
heard anything, so.
So if we can't put it there, the other 2 spots, which I had on a map, is across Van Dyke on West St. Clair, on the basically
By the library or something?
no, halfway down. So basically, where the buildings end,
Yeah.
where your buildings end, is 500 feet away. So it would be kind of like in
From
the
there
open area
out.
where the parking lot is. That's 500 feet. Or the other 500 foot is
That's not that bad.
the road by Dollar General.
Problem is we don't have power over
Yeah,
there.
that's the issue.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
I mean,
Then
not
how
that
would
we
we get-
can't solve that, but it
We don't
costs
have
more
any
money.
in the parking lot?
Not
Not
for
what we
the size we need.
Oh.
There is a power drop on West St. Clair we could use. There isn't one at Dollar General.
Okay.
If not, it's another $1,000 for the generator. That's what you rent. That's what our charge was for the weekend last time. He gave us a deal on it, but that's what the cost is. I mean, we don't, if we have power, that's the whole point of having it at East St. Clair at Bristol. We already have power there. It's more than adequate. It saves us $1,000, and that's the $1,000 we could put into something else. Hold on a second.
Classes and stuff like last year. Basically how the order went.
Mhm.
I was gonna try to, I think we probably locked it in the locker, just so we could start to try to break the classes down again and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Again, if people ask, put them on the website or the page, people can start saying, people's choice or whatever the class is, and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I can start looking at what classes are in the numbers like.
Yep.
Who helped to put them in the different classes? Did the people pick themselves, or did we have certain people designating it? Because I
So
remember-
people were helping because registration
Yes.
was Carolyn and one of her friends from the gym and a couple
there's
other
me,
ladies who
and
didn't
then-
know much
yeah.
about cars. So my husband was helping class cars. Somebody else was too, and I don't remember who it was now, but there were a couple guys
Yeah.
that were supposed to be helping with the car show that helped with classing
Yeah.
at registration.
Yeah, I remember, like,
Mhm.
I didn't know if there was anything being done before the day of, like, trying to categorize, because that was a little bit of, I wouldn't say, like, too much of an issue, but there were quite a handful of people where they were categorized and then they were coming back up.
Yeah.
And we would have to switch them to
And
a
it-
different one.
And we said this 2 Heritage Fests ago. The answer is no.
Yeah.
We're not reclassing people. It just, it causes too much confusion and
Yeah.
problems.
Because a lot of them too will go around and they'll look and be like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
and
you're
exactly.
my class." Oh, my
They look at their
class.
competition, so then they want to switch to an easier
Yeah.
class, and it's like, no, you
Well,
are what you
some of
are.
them were
and-
not categorized correctly, like by the year, so they had to switch to a different year. So that was understandable.
Mhm.
But in terms of them switching from one to
Yeah.
like a completely different one, I was like, okay.
I would say, I think if you guys have just a meeting, just on classing and parking, and dial that in. And I think that would be a huge help, just a separate deal. We'll have our volunteer, and we could do it the night of the volunteer meeting, but I think you guys break out, and whoever's gonna be your car show people, from parking to classing to whatever, you set those roles and responsibilities that night. So that way, going into it, they know. And we know where the tent goes. There's no tent confusion this year, all that stuff, right? What?
We need.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're not going to have one, so it doesn't matter
We'll be
because
down in-
registration won't be
be down
downtown
there.
either.
That's
Yeah,
right,
we'll-
that's
we'll
right.
have a- well, we probably-
Well, for the
Little-
wards, we'll
little
need a
tent.
little something.
Okay, yes. And I was just, when I was thinking about that, I was like, oh, do we need to rent a tent this year? A separate one,
We
a
might.
second one. But if we're not, I think we can use pop-ups for registration. We each have one 10 by 10 to keep them out of the sun. For
Right.
awards, we could have a 10 by 10 or a couple, and I think between all of us, we have enough.
Right.
And if not, maybe the DDA needs to purchase our own anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good, like an info desk.
But we do need to rent an additional tent for the bands.
An additional for
The
why?
bands have to have their own private space, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And we
that's right.
moved that tent.
Well, we could
Oh,
maybe
that's
use
right.
that tent as their private space this year.
Did that get saved still? We didn't pitch that?
It's the park.
You have to be in charge. You and
I will
Steven
do it.
have to be in
That-
charge of putting it
Listen,
together
that
because
tent-
nobody else could.
That tent was a go rodeo. I put it together.
I
we were
know.
there.
Her and Steven
Yeah,
are the ones
yeah.
that saved the day
I
because
know.
we all spent forever trying to put that
Yeah, we-
together.
They weren't, nothing was labeled. I remember, we were out there for
Melissa
hours.
figured it out,
That's
though.
right.
I'll do it for
If
All right.
Melissa will put it together,
I'll put it
that's
together.
fine because we did not have the aptitude to
That
put it
was
together.
besides on
between
it
us.
potentially for them to have privacy too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got, she's gonna be up in a minute.
Are you gonna go? Then go.
So,
Go.
okay.
Goodbye.
If I'm just a couple minutes late, can you just?
Yeah, I'll wait. Let
you
us know.
mind holding the meeting?
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah,
to cheer.
text me.
Yeah, I can go cheer.
He's
No,
gonna
no,
go cheer.
No, no.
He's
You
gonna
don't
put on
want,
his
you don't want me to
costume.
cheer. But can you
Okay.
finish this,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay, bye.
Holly, take the seat.
I'll just stay in my seat. I'm good. Yep. Yep. Trish handles the vendors.
We don't have application ready?
No, but we can work on that.
Yeah.
Are we keeping with the vendors or are we?
So
I know-
we still need to decide where they're gonna go and then whether we're gonna limit
Okay.
how many.
So this is what I want everyone to work on, each subcommittee, and that's on the next page. We need to work on maps for individual areas. So, which, I don't know. Yes, and they need to be, yes. We're not positive at this point. We need to have a sit down with the restaurants to see if they can handle the volume. If they can, we would like to give them the business. But we may have, like, I know is it the cheerleaders or the Girl Scouts that do the Kona ice? We might do a couple, like, things that we don't have downtown.
Dessert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we might do a couple things like that, but we've discussed, well, we need to sit down with the restaurants and discuss. I'll
And
make,
I like that pizza truck.
it was really good. I know.
Do you have a truck?
What kind of truck do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polish Mania,
Oh.
that's
We
it.
need,
Is
we
that
don't
from
have
there?
Polish food here, so yeah.
Okay.
Anything that we don't offer in town, I think that we should be open to. We just want to give the businesses in town, the food, restaurants, the opportunity. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
The problem we run into is
That's why I was asking about the application.
Yeah, we haven't,
they got 10 cars.
yeah.
They want those 10 cars.
All right.
Okay. They're having their own meeting over there.
Yeah.
It's fine. So vendors, we need to
It is hard to hear though.
work on that. It is. Sponsorships.
So we're going to be doing all the sponsorships this year, not having the Lions Club assist, so it'll be all on us this year.
Which it was anyways.
Yeah. And so when did Angela start to reach out to the sponsors last year?
I'm not 100%. I think it was kind of late, honestly, because the Lions were supposed
Yeah.
to do it. So I
I-
would like to get
By next
started.
meeting, start to
Mhm.
reach out to people and at least put it out there. And asking them if they're willing to match what they did last year. So if we have a list of whatever Angela can get, I'll look at the binder. I don't know what she keeps her stuff. in
There
a
is no
binder.
binder. It is all spreadsheets and
Spreadsheets.
Excel.
Of what we got last year, so that way we can say, this is what you did last year, were you willing to match? I have a spreadsheet of all the people who gave
Baskets.
for baskets, for donations, so I can reach out this year. Last year, it was August that I was reaching out, so
Yeah.
we'll definitely have a head start on that.
Yeah. 5K. So that's me. We're going to do a 5K and a 10 and a fun run. So if you want to help with that, Ashlyn, I'll sign you right up. Yep. And the 10K and the fun run.
You don't have to run in it.
No,
You can just.
I just need your help. So yeah, I need to get to work on that. Yeah, anyone can help and volunteer. Raffle, we already talked about that. You're on it.
Well, for the raffles too, do you guys want to, for the car show stuff, obviously we're still doing the raffle. Do we want to like get someone started on that now for that?
That's what we're gonna start to do with sponsorships and the raffle prizes. I will make sure the spreadsheet that I had from last year still is up to date, and then I'll go back to all those people, ask them if they're willing to match what they gave last year. And then there were definitely people that I went to, and because it was so late, they were just, there wasn't enough time. But yeah, I would like to start next month, like starting to reach out to people.
That was the one thing too, I thought like if we're gonna, because again, what we ran into last year with the free bags was such a, not, like, it was just again, getting those sponsors to even give the
Yeah.
free stuff away. As I thought, well, maybe it'd be cool if we were getting the raffle people at the same time.
Yeah,
Just to say, hey, if you guys donated this, do you wanna do some little
Yeah.
cheesy thing for the goodie bags
Yeah.
or something like that at the same time?
Are we gonna
Yeah.
do another, golf cart?
So, and I was going to say, I think that's actually what Angela meant by raffle is the raffle, not the raffle
Yeah,
baskets.
yeah.
I think we're going to do something. It's on our DDA agenda to discuss what we want to do. Does anyone have suggestions? Do you want to do another golf cart? What do you guys want to see?
I like the UTVs, the four-wheelers, just kind of mix it up a little bit.
Okay.
You know,
Does anyone have any connections?
I was wondering like if Lumberjack or the, I know what Greeny's, donated some stuff like.
Okay.
A couple years ago, like 3 years ago. So I wasn't sure, he was really kind of excited about it, the first year he did stuff.
because if we can't get anything that's like within reason, then I think that the fallback will be a golf cart again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool too.
Yeah. Okay.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Those new gators and
Committee chairs. So you need to listen. Wayne, are you still going to chair the car show? You and Andy?
Do I have a choice?
No,
No,
you
you don't.
really don't, because I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Trish, are you still good with handling the vendors? Angela and I will handle the raffle, sponsorships. Melissa, Angela will help you. I'm on the 5K, and Andy's in charge of the volunteers. We didn't should we add an entertainment
I think we should.
tent chair, and
help
should we
with the-
call on the restaurants to be on that, because it is going to fall on their shoulders once the social district is approved?
I think we should look at asking Craig or Jim. One of them. I mean,
And obviously with Angela is there.
I think Jim is probably
I
going to
don't-
be the most likely
I do too.
person that, or Aaron.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, we'll have Angela reach out to them then.
And then will that include the cornhole then? We'll have to get a prize for that, because did we give away $100 last year? Did Dan give the $100?
I think it ended up coming from Dan, yes, because I think we had too many 5K prizes. So I said to Dan, I was like, hey, can I take your prize and use it for the cornhole? He's like, you can do whatever you want with it. So yes, it was Dan.
Okay.
And I'm sure if it came down to it, he would sponsor that again. Or if we let the Lions maybe take that over and maybe charge an entry fee, I don't know. It's something we would have to talk through with them, and if they are interested in doing that. So we need to talk to them.
Are we going to be doing a $5 cover again this year?
So I know I don't see why we wouldn't do a $5 cover once the big bands are on. And we talked about maybe letting the Lions handle that and take that,
Okay.
since they can't run the beer tent anymore, probably. So that's what I was just gonna write and
Okay.
see if they wanted to do that. I'll have Angela reach out to them and discuss. Normally Eric's here, but he's not.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I know there's a couple people that were talking about like trying to get the barriers and stuff like that for the parking in general, like not the parking, detour in general. There's a couple, maybe more than one guy too, that's calling us like barricades or walls, or I know some people talking about last year, maybe having like some signs and stuff potentially.
I know DPW is working on getting more signage and potentially barricades.
Were we discussing the option of helping to pay for any of the costs if they needed it?
I think we did discuss
Okay.
splitting costs on that, yes, if
I don't know
they
if
need us to.
Thought about this, but we had, last year mentioned that, we had high schoolers direct traffic on Van Dyke.
So that's a police issue. That is going to be handled.
I want to cover what they can, but, they should get some help from
That's-
the county or the.
That's being handled. Kids will not be,
Directing traffic?
no,
Yeah.
stopping
Do we have
traffic.
enough of those vests?
I
Just in case.
don't know how many we have.
Okay. We'll have to go through our unit and look through.
We can check. Anything else? But yeah, that has been discussed, not handled fully, but it will be. There will be no kids out there. There will be more police, there will be Elmont police and there will be other police.
And I think for, at least for the commercial group too, I think we need to have like those, some chairs almost like, we almost need like a parking person. And that way, we kind of know what's going on.
Mhm. Yeah,
That way it's not like.
everyone coming to you.
we're just- Yeah, we just.
Yeah. Yeah, you
We can establish it early. then.
you need to establish a person
Yes.
that you think can handle that, Wayne.
I know, right?
So yeah, I think that's a great idea. Anything else? Questions, concerns? So I was saying, you guys were chit-chatting. I would like to see map suggestions at the next meeting so we can maybe finalize some plans. So if like you and Andy can sit down and work out where we're gonna park show cars, and our beer tent A and B will work on where we can put vendors, we'll work on. I think we need to see a car show parking map, I think, first and foremost, with
Right,
beer tent
right.
A and B, and then we can layer everything else on top of that, I think. Because that's, that is the core of the day, is the car show. So we need to figure out what parking you guys need to take up first, I think. And then we can add everything else to that. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. All right, cool. That was a quick meeting. We didn't have Chatterbox Andy.
Thank you for coming.
Have a good one.